Hey, what is going on, guys? It's DK back at you with another video here for the NBA main slate here on Wednesday. We got a solid 3-game slate. Real quick, let's see how we did last night. So, it was a pretty disappointing night, to be honest. You had Enes Kanter, who I really liked, got in foul trouble, only played 20 minutes, subbed out early in the third, and just never came back in. So that was really frustrating because especially he played 35 minutes last game, and then just out of nowhere to I know he's in foul trouble, but just not even come back in. That's surprising. Evan Turner, that was bad play on my part. I wanted exposure to this OKC Portland game. I pivoted down to CJ from Lillard. I should have pivoted from Westbrook to Paul George and then upgraded Evan Turner to someone else. So that was definitely a mistake on my part. Jokic, you guys know I really liked him. He had a really solid game there for 9K. Will Barton, he was really popular, just shot the ball terribly. Kind of the same thing with Kanter, subbed out midway through the third and just never came back in. Gary Harris was really solid for his price. Plumlee was a little disappointing. But yeah, all in all, a losing night and a pretty frustrating night. But my thought process with trying to get a lot of exposure to OKC Portland was we know where the offense is coming from both those teams. It's Westbrook and it's Paul George from OKC, and it's Lillard, CJ, and McCollum, Lillard, CJ, and Kanter for Portland. On Toronto, they're a really balanced team. Orlando's also pretty balanced. Same thing kind of with the Spurs and Denver, but we know where the offense is coming from OKC and Portland. So that was my thought process. That's why I wanted to get exposure to that game with the Stars there. But yeah, just guys couldn't hit shots. Will Barton again, I think he was 1 of 10. Again, Kanter foul trouble. So let's move on and see if we can get back into the winning track here tonight for this 3-game slate. So this is kind of an uglier slate. 3 slower games. We got obviously Indiana, Boston, Detroit, Milwaukee, Utah, Houston. The one piece of injury news that's huge is Blake Griffin. That will definitely change the complexion of the slate. But let's just jump right into it. Harden, 10.7. Got a little bit of a price bump, but still, I don't think it's enough. Even in a blowout win, only played 33 minutes. Still got 58 fantasy points. If the game stayed close, he was probably on pace for 70. I like him a lot as a spend up. There's really not a whole lot of great spend up options on the slate, so I do really like Harden. KYRIE at 8.3 does have some pretty big upside. This game's gonna be it's gonna be a low scoring battle. 2 really solid defensive teams, but KYRIE is the one guy that has 50, 60 fantasy point upside at 8.3K. That seems too cheap for him. Donovan Mitchell at 8K. So Utah got blown out. It was just an off game for him. But if his shot's falling, this guy also has really big upside. So yeah, Donovan Mitchell at 8K. I think it's perfectly fine here. Chris Paul 7.2. He's going to play a little, 30 to 35 minutes. Does he have huge upside? No, but I think he's a solid play there at 7.2. Bledsoe. So obviously Blake Griffin questionable. Originally there was news that Blake Griffin would be out for the rest of the first round of the playoffs. So basically out for the playoffs. But now he's currently listed as questionable. If Blake plays, you could feel a little more confident targeting Milwaukee. Right now, I'm just crossing them off again. I just really think Milwaukee blows out Detroit like they did last time. If there's no Blake, let's see, Rubio at 5.7. Actually, I like this play quite a bit. He's gonna play 30 to 35 minutes. This is more of a pace up game for Utah at least. So 5.7K for Rubio. I do like him a decent amount there. Reggie Jackson. There's no Blake. It's going to be him and Andre. But really, I just think Detroit gets blown out. Now, if Blake Griffin plays, again, I would feel a little more confident targeting some Detroit guys. Carlson at 4.9. That seems too cheap. It hasn't looked good of late. But, it's just the price tag that makes him in play there. Rozier, I thought I'd see a little extra run there with no Marcus Smart. Only saw 18 minutes. So that's not going to be enough for me to target him at 4.7. So I don't think I can go there. Corey Joseph at 4K. There's really not a whole lot of great cheap guys, so I guess you could consider him. George Hill got a little extra run there in the blowout. He did solid, but I don't know if we have to go there. So yeah, let's move on to shooting guard here. Again, these Milwaukee guys, like right now, I'm kind of just crossing it off. But we have to wait for the Blake Griffin news. That's the big news of the day. Joe Ingles at 6.2. He's going to play 30-plus minutes. He's going to get you 25 to 35 fantasy points. This guy doesn't have huge upside, but I think he's a solid play there at 6.2. Bogdanovich, just a guy I never play. If his shot's falling, he can get you 30, 35 fantasy points, but just a guy. I don't like playing score-independent guys, so I'm not going with Bogdanovich. Jaylen Brown was really popular the other night. A lot of people down in 28 minutes, only got 8 fantasy points. At 5K, I just don't see the upside with him right now, so I just don't think I can do it. Eric Gordon, talked about him last time out. I did like him a lot at 4.1. Now he's at 4.8. Seems priced about right. He's going to play 30 or so minutes. He's going to shoot the ball 10 to 15 times when he's out there. If his shot's falling, obviously he has upside. So Eric Gordon, I think, is okay. Sterling Brown, I wouldn't go crazy here. He had a big game out last time out with 11 points, 7 assists, 3 boards, 3 steals. I don't think I'm going to chase it. He is normally a low usage guy, so I'll let others chase Sterling Brown. I don't think I'm going to go there. Wayne Ellington, Luke Kennard. Could you take a shot on one of these guys? Sure. I guess, would prefer Kennard, but again, he's more scoring dependent. It's just Detroit. The Detroit-Milwaukee game's ugly. Tyreek, Wes Matthews. Indiana's just, they have they're running a deep rotation. No one's really seeing a whole lot of minutes. I don't think I want to go there with either of those guys. All right, let's move on to small forward. So Giannis, in his limited time against Detroit, in only 23 minutes, put up 54 fantasy points. So he would be the one Milwaukee guy I would target, even if there's a blowout. He can get you there in limited time, so I have no issue there with Giannis. Thad Young at 5.9. It seems priced about right. A lot of these guys and Indiana, Boston seem priced about right, but again, it's a 3-game slate, so you got to target some of these guys. I think Thad Young's okay. Tatum at 5.6 seems a little too cheap. So yeah, I think he's fine there. Hayward at 5.3, another guy that seems a little underpriced. He's playing pretty well too of late. 32, 26, 38, 30 minutes. The minutes I like with him. The production too. He's filling up a stat sheet, rebounds, assists, and scoring the basketball. So I think he's a pretty solid play here at 5.3. Marcus Morris, he had that big game the other night in 29 minutes. Have no issue there, 4.6. That seems a little too cheap for him. Let's see, Jay Crowder, 4.5. I thought he would get a little extra run. Only saw 20 minutes. Obviously didn't play that well. Shot level 1 of 9. I don't think I can do it on the slate. PJ Tucker, I liked him when he's at 3.4. Now he's at 4.2. He's priced right. He's going to play 30 or so minutes. Really a low usage guy. I guess, there really isn't a whole lot of cheap guys that, are playable. So I guess he's in play. yeah, let's move on to power forward. So it's Blake Griffin here, 7.5. Even if he plays, I don't know. Last time out, we played like a week ago, he was just really hobbled. I think the Pistons are just kind of trying to rush him back because they need him. Obviously against Milwaukee, even if he plays, I don't think I can go there just because, again, he looked really hobbled. Last time he played. Al Horford at 6.6. In the playoffs, he gets extended a bit. He saw 32 minutes against Indiana. I think he's a pretty solid play with upside here at 6.6. So Sabonis at 6.3. Obviously he's a high usage guy off the bench. There's a lot of mid-tier guys that seem priced about right. Sabonis is another one of those guys that I think he's priced about right, but this guy does have upside. He has 40 fantasy point upside, so I don't mind him. Favors at 5.4. He's going to play 25 or so minutes. I think he's okay there. Mirotic, they're going to kind of ease him back in from what I heard. Only played 15 minutes. I don't think we have to take a shot on him on this slate. KENNETH FARIED at 3.6. Saw 16 minutes against Utah. He's going to play 10 to 15 minutes, but he's a high usage guy when he's out there. I don't mind him. Again, there's really not a whole lot of cheap value plays on the slate. A THON maker saw the start with no Blake Griffin. Only 22 minutes, only put up 11 fantasy points. I guess you could consider him again if there's no Blake, but it's just that game is really, really ugly. On the center, Drummond. Man, I feel a little more confident with him if Blake plays, but still, it's an ugly game. I really think Milwaukee is going to blow him out either way, but yeah, so that's why I'm probably not going to go there. Drummond. You got Gobert at 7.8, so I really like this play. Capella, not a great defender. Gobert is too cheap here. Probably my favorite play of the night. I really like Rudy Gobert. Capella at 7K. I don't mind pairing him with Gobert. Centers have done decent against Gobert in the past. Obviously, Gobert is a pretty good defender, but they're going to need Capella to play some pretty big minutes, so I don't mind him here at 7K. Miles Turner kind of had an off game in his first game there against Boston, but the way to target attack Boston is with the bigs. So Miles Turner, Sabonis, I would consider. Again, it's a 3-game slate. It's an ugly slate, so you got to consider playing some of these guys. BROOK LOPEZ at 5.8. Probably not for me. Again, it's just that game is super, super ugly. And I think, honestly, that's about it. Ilyasova, he was in the rotation before the garbage time at basically minimum price. I guess you could consider him. If there's a blowout, he probably would get extended a little more. So at basically minimum price, I don't think Ilyasova is a worst play there. But yeah, guys, this 3-game slate is pretty ugly. Again, a lot of lower scoring games. I probably want the most exposure to this Utah-Houston game. I like on the Utah side, I like Rubio, Gobert, obviously Donovan Mitchell on Houston's side. Harden, CP3, Capella. This Detroit-Milwaukee game is it's super ugly. If I was going to target someone in Milwaukee, it would be Giannis just because he could get you there in limited time for sure. And then Indiana-Boston. A lot of mid-tier guys that seem priced about right in this game. And obviously, KYRIE has some pretty big upside there at 8.3. So, like I said, it's a 3-game slate. You got to play some of these guys. So, I wouldn't mind taking a shot on a few of those mid-range guys in that game. So, I think that's going to do it for today's video, guys. If you have been enjoying the content, please like this video, subscribe. If you have any questions, you can leave them in the comment section down below. So it's important to follow me on Twitter. That will be in the description below. I'll give my thoughts when more news comes out throughout the day. And I'll be back for another video on Thursday, so I'll see you guys then.